Welcome back, everybody. So now we are gonna move on to the third dish,
which is the trifle. So there's two components that we have to work with, and because I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible, so we're gonna start this off with a bit of water. So just water.
So room temperature water into the pan, the pot.
Yeah, well, it could be hot water, it could be room temp.
It'll just shorten the time.
Yeah, it'll just shorten the time. It doesn't actually affect the end produce.
Okay.
What we want to do is, by the side, while waiting for this to boil, we'll just add in a bit of custard powder, a bit of lemon juice, and a bit of elderflower. Right.
So this is just to tie in the whole theme, because we had the first mocktail, which was an elderflower mocktail.
Yes.
And then now with the trifle, we have a little bit of elderflower as well.
And berries. We're going to add cream in.
Ah, okay.
By introducing lemon juice at the early stage, what's going to happen is that will force the cream to split up.
Yeah.
So a bit of cream, a bit of sugar.
So cream and sugar into the boiling water.
Yes. And next, we're just going to
whisk it.
Whisk this to lightly dissolve the sugar. And next up, what we're going to do, instead of making a very hard crème pâtissier with yolk and stuff like that, I find this very easy to follow. So in goes the starch, thicken it, right? And you have to stir it vigorously, because what's going to happen is
it's almost instantaneous.
It will thicken. And if you don't cook this enough, it will have this very powdery,
lumpy.
No, not that much on the lumpy side, but it's powdery.
Ah, okay.
Yes. So stir vigorously.
Also, with the use of custard powder, there's no need to temper it. You can actually just pop the whole thing in.
Yes, yes. Unlike, because tempering, I think to a certain extent, is pretty technical as well.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, then it's easy to temper. But if you don't, then by all means, what's going to happen to the egg is it curdles very fast.
Yeah, so this is again the foolproof way. Right?
Yes, this is definitely the foolproof way. Right, so we have the custard base with a bit of elderflower cordial, a bit of lemon. And we're going to finish this off with the zest of the lemon that we juiced out earlier. Right, so we don't normally cook zest, right? Because the thing is, the flavor of the lemon itself, it will change.
It smells great.
Yes. So we're gonna just whisk in the zest, and if you realize it's no longer boiling, right? We're just gonna let the residue heat to extract the oil from the zest itself. All right. So meanwhile, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set this aside, and we're gonna work on our meringue,
which finally I can help with.
Yes, yes. So what's different from Italian meringue as compared to a French meringue is Italian meringue itself is actually tempered with hot syrup. So we have here the egg white, and then on the other hand, what we're going to do is we're going to start
making a syrup.
So what you have here, a bit of water and the rest of the sugar. So we're going to let this boil to a stage where it's called a soft boil. So I'm not going to use a thermometer today, right? Because it's going to be home cooked. So I'm going to introduce a bit of vinegar in here. Right?
egg whites.
We'll start to fluff this a little
Okay,
bit.
I'll do it.
On a very low speed.
Okay, on a low speed.
So it's light and frothy now. I think it's good for now. And then we're just gonna wait for this to happen, and then we're gonna reintroduce this.
So we need to achieve this light and frothy stage.
Yes.
Yeah. And then stop.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Okay.
So we're gonna stop there. We're gonna let it rest. It'll settle down, and then from there we're gonna make it into our. We're gonna pour this into our
the egg
base. Yes.
Yeah.
So yep, this is more or less settled.
Okay.
Right. Let us start with this.
So I'll put it back up on speed.
Yes.
Again,
yes.
low speed.
Probably medium speed.
So.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce this really slowly, right?
Okay.
So
you pour it in a slow stream.
yes, yes. Pouring it too fast, what's gonna happen is it will scald the egg white. Yes.
And cook it.
Yes.
And I'm having scrambled eggs.
So what we hope for is for a smooth meringue. So at this stage, I will go slightly lower speed.
Okay. So
And let it froth a little bit. We'll just beat it. Well, unlike cream, there's a very small chance of you overbeating.
Overbeating.
Yes.
Okay.
So as long as it's on low temp, low speed, it'll work well. This is what we call a ribbon, right? So by looking at the ribbon, I can tell if it's almost ready or not. So this is probably about there. We're just gonna stop it a bit, and we'll just check how firm this is.
Okay. Now.
Right. This is pretty light still, right? So I'll just continue with this, right? And then
give it a quick whisk.
Right, we're just gonna transfer this.
Let me help you with that.
Right, we're just gonna transfer this and that into a piping bag, and then we'll come back and compile the whole thing. Yes.
So Kim Hock, if we don't have actually, at home readily available a piping bag, what can we use?
So what
bag?
you can always use is basically plastic bag.
Clean one, of course.
Yeah, clean ones, and then you just put whatever ingredients in, and then tie it up and snip the edge off. So it works exactly like a piping bag. So here you have the triangular end, and then you can just use that. So I'm gonna start with this, basically the custard base that we actually chill down, and then what we're gonna move on with is a bit of the jam as well. So with this, we want to go really random, just that as a base, and then we're gonna reintroduce the finger biscuit. So there's a bit of sponge to soak up the jam and the custard.
So you can even get your kids involved in this actually.
Oh yes. In fact, one of the reasons why I came out with this is because it's so fun to do and it's so easy to do.
Yes, and everybody in the family can take part. Is that sufficient?
Yeah, that's more than enough. Right, so by the side you can see there's two colors. There's a bit of finger biscuits. We're gonna add a bit of textures to it. So this time around I chose muesli. So this muesli itself, it's actually it's strawberry flavored as well. So you have a lot of dehydrated strawberries in there.
Right.
So yeah, just chuck them in. And then,
so I can just sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
As I like.
So we create that almost a contour type of finish and give it more characteristic.
Okay.
So yeah, that looks good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit more blueberries.
So all the different textures, the different layers and flavors as well.
It doesn't have to be evenly, like what I said, it could be a plate of surprise. It doesn't have to be, uniform.
It can
be
be
as
a
random.
beautiful mess.
Yes. This
The
is
meringue.
the meringue. So typically, a trifle, you get more creams, not as much meringue. But this is basically my take on the trifle. It's a cross between lemon meringue pie and your typical trifle.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm just gonna color this up a bit. We have a bit of everything now. So we're gonna start with the vibrant colors, the berries. So we can just put it by the side, so it's just a bit more colorful. So what we can do next is we can introduce more muesli. You know, it's just stacking
More
it up.
muesli.
Just
That's my part, my role.
yeah, just stacking it up. And
Again, all over?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's fun. You know, it's
It is fun.
yeah. It shouldn't be just, you know, oh, you want this to be that way.
So it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah?
Yes, yes. So you have a bit of currants. You just introduce a bit of currants as well.
So pretty.
It's almost Christmas Day now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, just a bit of muesli on top. We're gonna top that up with a bit of a bit more meringue. But this time around, instead of doing it flat or the patterns, we're gonna probably do
Oh, little balls.
real balls.
Also cute. Would it last a long time? Like
Well, this would at least last for the dinner because it needs 3 to 4 hours to set and to set right. So we're gonna just lightly torch this, so it introduce a bit of color.
Right.
All right, and then we're gonna finish with a couple more stuff. Maybe a bit of dehydrated strawberries, I think.
Yeah, that's. So if they don't have that torch, could they use that long lighter?
Long
not
lighter
really, because it's flame,
is
right?
not strong enough.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, with this, you just have to.
You have to torch it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you just have to touch it.
And voila!
Voila! Yes.
So off into the fridge it goes for
Yes.
well until dinner, until dessert time.
So yes, this is our trifle.
So pretty and so active for the kids to get involved in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So now we're on to our last dish.
Yes.
Probably my favorite dish.
So firstly, what we're gonna do is we want to lightly cook the onions. So loads of butter.
Loads of butter here.
Loads of butter. So you have probably a stick of butter here. So a stick could probably come up to like 230 grams. All right. So once we melted all the butter, all right.
In
we're gonna
goes
do-
the onion.
in goes the onion.
The aromatics of it. It's just amazing.
Yes. So you have a bit of onion in. You have a bit of garlic in.
Oh, it smells amazing.
Yes. This combination couldn't go wrong. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of thyme in now. Alright. So we want this to turn slightly translucent. We are almost there now. So the next thing that we want to include is
The mushrooms.
the mushrooms. This was prepped beforehand, so how we prep this is by brushing the soil off, because you're not supposed to
Wet them.
wet them, because they act like a sponge.
They're gonna
and they'll
absorb all the
soak.
water.
Yes, yes. So once the mushrooms in, kind of soaks up all the butter.
Yeah. Like a
And-
sponge, like you said.
Yes. So normally if you were to use wine, this would be the stage where you deglaze it with wine. But today, we're gonna keep it really simple,
And family friendly.
and family friendly, of course. It's starting to release its own juice.
Okay.
We're gonna introduce the
Roasted
chestnut.
chestnut.
Yes. So what chestnut does is instead of it doesn't exactly have a very strong character, but the flavor itself, you can actually identify that as chestnut.
Right.
So what we're going to do next is to introduce water.
Increasing the heat now that we have
Yes,
water. Yeah.
yes.
If one would not does not like butter and do not want to use butter, can they use olive oil instead?
Yes, they can definitely use olive oil. What we try to steer off is olive oil with too much of a character as well. Because like I said, mushroom is a very versatile ingredient, but it's also an ingredient that could be easily overshadowed
By something else that is too pungent.
some other flavors. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna introduce a little bit of salt for now.
Okay.
Well, just a little bit so that we kind of gauge where the seasonings at, and then the overall flavor note. Right, and a bit of pepper. So for time being, we're just gonna lower down the flame, and we're gonna let it simmer for probably around 10 minutes.
Okay.
Covered.
Covered. Okay.
Yes.
That's going to bring down the juice and it'll dry up a little?
No. Basically the reason why we got it covered is because we have chestnuts in there. We want to soften the chestnuts, but at the same time we don't want to lose out too much
of the moisture.
Flavor and moisture. So we'll come back in 10 minutes.
Yes,
All
definitely,
right.
and see where it goes from there.
Okay. All right.
Okay, let's see. Wow, look at that.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a bit of cream. Right, just that so that it doesn't spill. So of course we had some vinegar in just now.
Yes.
So what the cream does, it kind of balance off the flavor. And then also, last but not least, a bit of cheese.
Oh, this is a must.
So this is pre-shaven grana padano.
This is
So
the best thing to put in any soup, any creamy soup. Yeah.
So to us, the grana padano, what it does, it gives the much needed umami into the overall soup. So if you like it chunky,
so grind it to whatever level of chunkiness that you like. Basically.
If you prefer it to be chunky, then by all means don't blend it too fine, and then don't sift them.
Right.
You do have people that actually prefer
really smooth
soup. Yes, exactly. So
perfect soup for a rainy day.
Definitely.
Yes.
Especially at this place, this location, what can you ask more?
Yeah, up at Penang Hill, it's cloudy and quite rainy today. So perfect
Yes.
soup. And there you go.
All right, voila, the soup. All right, I'm sure everyone's hungry now, so let us go and get everyone to eat.
Yes, and we can plate it all nicely.
Nice.
And there we have it, a table full of the wonderful things that Chef Kim Hock has taught us all how to prepare during this festive season. And thank you so much, Ken, from Hillside Retreat, where we are today. It's such an amazing place and the perfect location for any gathering, actually. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Well, thank you for having us. It's a great pleasure to cook in a location such as this. Yes. We hope you're going to enjoy the food also tonight. We have loads to eat.
And we hope you viewers at home have received some nice tips on how to prepare a great meal for your family members during this season. Thank you again.